Hey guys, today we're going to do the reverse 12-inch step down. And like with all of our exercises, the same fundamental principles apply, where we're keeping the plane of our diaphragm and the plane of our hips parallel to each other by breathing into 360 degrees of our torso. We're going to fight to keep our weight over that navicular bone, or in other words, just 1 inch in front of the ankle. And it's really easy here to let the wobbles make it so that you're not actually recruiting the muscles or going into the range of motion that you're not already good at. So it's going to be really important that you stay focused and use all of your energy to lower down slow, right on the center of your foot, and then just come back up.
And if you're like us that don't actually have something that measures specifically to 12 inches, like we've said in the other videos, we're just using 12 because it's an easy number to ballpark. This is probably about 15. This AirX pad is probably about 2 inches. Call it 12. As we've mentioned before, the side step down, front step down, and reverse step down all have their own nuanced differences, but the principles remain the same. Despite the fact that the principles remain the same and that you may be doing everything the same, just know that your body mechanics are going to be a little bit different. With that front step down, we're going to be a little bit more upright, a little more knee drive, forces in a little bit more dorsiflexion. And with these reverse ones, it's going to be a little bit more of like an RDL. We're going to have to bend over more and maintain that vertical shin a little bit more. That's all okay. Just focus, breathing, bracing, spinal positioning, staying balanced on your foot. You'll be good to go.
And when John says spinal positioning, really what he means is keeping the spine in a neutral position. So when we say bend over, we mean bend over from the hip sockets. These big hip sockets were made to bend us over, right? Here, these tiny little joints with muscles that are already too tight, if you know what I mean, are not meant to be the things that are bending us over all the time. So that's a neutral spinal position is what we're going to try to keep.
Yeah, because these big muscles down here need to have a fixed point to pull from. They're essentially just like on-call rubber bands being ready to be pulled on to produce force and energy. But if this isn't stable and that hamstring, quad, adductor, or glute tries to fire hard without this being set, that's where you get that wobbling. That's where you get discs that kind of shift. That's where you get muscles that kind of spasm. That's where you kind of go down a rabbit hole of a whole host of problems we don't really want. One great way to think about it is the way that Charles Pollock once said it back in the day. Someone may have said it before him. That's the original source I know of that's saying it. But trying to shoot a cannon out of a canoe. Okay? These things are freaking cannons. They are ready to fire hard. But your brain will shut them down to prevent yourself from hurting yourself. This is true. It will shut down the prime movers if this isn't set. Your body's not going to get yourself injured. If you want to feel your capacity, if you want to achieve your potential, if you want to stay healthy for the longest amount of time possible, this has to be set for this to work how they're supposed to. Anyways, I digress. I'm going to do some reps. Hopefully we'll coach you through.
Here we go. Okay, so John here is going to bring his head back over his shoulders a little bit. And then he's thinking about keeping the diaphragm and the pelvis parallel to each other. Really, when you're doing this, that's too much to think about. So you breathe at the inhale, you inhale at the top to set your brace, and then all he's thinking about as he lowers down is where's my weight, where's my weight, where's my weight, trying to keep it 1 inch in front of the ankle. He's slowly lowering down so that when he hits the ground, it's because he was just moving slow through his other leg. He's not trying or thinking about getting that other leg to the ground. It's just happening as a byproduct. And you see these little wobbles happening, but they're so small, and that's because he's fighting to keep his weight in the right position. His hips are going to stay parallel to the ground, so there's no listing of the pelvis back and forth. And he's bending over quite a lot to make this happen. Where is he bending from? His hip. His butt, not his spine. And his arms are going out in front of him a little bit. That's totally okay. And if you have to lower down heavy on this one, John's been doing a lot of reps today. That's okay. He didn't spring up from the top. he slowly got the weight back into the right position of his foot and then took his time getting all the way back up to the top.
That's a great point that Lily brings up. Some of those were not ideal. But if you do find yourself losing it, pause, find center, find balance, find where you need to be, and then come back out of it, okay? If you lost the first half, or even just a part of the first half, don't lose the back half. The back half is still there. It's still your opportunity. Take that opportunity. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. If I'm here and I kind of wobble and fall, I can still center, set my brace, pushing through my foot. I'm pre-pushing so I can see how my body's going to react, and then I'll start to push hard enough. Come on. Okay, so I would lose it. Okay, breathe and brace. Find it, push a little bit to see how I'm going to react. Follow through.
You're only as good as the intentional energy you put into this exercise, so enjoy.
I hate to say it, we can always give more energy.
It's true.